the experience when we opened there as Avenue Bookstore was extraordinary. The number of people who came in who'd not had a proper bookshop in their neighbourhood for a long time, who came in and just went, oh, it's so nice, the smell of books, and what a beautiful space. But also, and kids, this is what it's like coming into a bookstore. They brought their kids in. It's like, the big tragedy, I think, about Borders and what they did is as they took over, they killed off lots of other stores, but as they closed, whole swathes of Melbourne, and in fact with Angus and Robinson, which was owned by the same group, the private equity group who took over, closed bookstores everywhere. And so many towns and suburbs lost a bookshop completely. And so the perception from the community was that books are on the way out, and the media absolutely played on that as well. But it meant you didn't have a bookshop in your neighbourhood. So what do you do? I mean, unless you're a real book lover, to actually make the journey to another place, just books weren't in your life, through other than at school or whatever. So kids would come into the bookstore with their parents or grandparents and just kind of find themselves immersed in it. And so that next generation of kids, parents and kids, are building that sort of love of books, and those experiences of touch, feel, smell, and looking at stuff, and the joy you still see with kids. I mean, we're constantly talking about dragging our kids away from their iPads and things, but the kids still love books, and there's various stages when in the teenage years where a lot of boys in particular sort of drop off reading. The tactile experience, I think, hopefully will come back for them, but there's a huge generation of kids who are into it. Just another tangent from that, Jill, sorry about this, is Harry Potter, for example. We all of you would have been exposed in some way or other, whether it be from your kids or grandkids, with the Harry Potter phenomenon, which did wonders for reading and kids. And they're just about to release, J.K. Rowling just approved this fully illustrated Harry Potter. It's just about the first one's being re-released as a big hardback, fully illustrated, full text, coming out in the next week or so, any day now. The 21-year-olds in our neighbourhood are just over the moon. My 16-year-old son just can't wait to get a hand on it, having read them all. This is really special, and a book in its print form. And what I'm trying to say is that actually having that object is something that kids want to have. When Borders shut down and Angus and Robinson, they lost, as I said, a huge chunk of their potential exposure for the product went away overnight. And publishers who would be printing 10,000 print runs suddenly went, we can't publish 10,000 anymore, we're going to publish 5,000. Now that changes the whole cost structure and the whole potential audience. So if you had a Bryce Courtney before he died, they would print 300,000 for Australia. Suddenly, they'd only print maybe 180,000 or something. And that would mean that everything associated with what they've paid him, advances, royalties, costs of all these things get thrown into it, and that's the intangibles that are part of the production. So I think there's a really strong future for books, but I just think, I think human beings love that engagement with books, and I think that will continue, but it's just a matter of there being good operators out there and publishers who still recognise the integrity of the book beyond its commercial, the commercial factors, that actually realise that it's an object, and an object that is an art, fundamentally an art thing that actually allows that to continue. But the media was very much on it. Books are over. Now there's a whole new wave of stuff. But books are back. And they never actually went away. But Borders, basically, I call it like the Ansett collapse. That's essentially what I think happened. It was bad management by people who didn't know what they were doing.
Books are back. I love that. They never went away.